Hey guys, alright, today I'm going to walk you through what it looks like to go through my entire post-processing workflow. This is with a grad shoot that I have edited the sneak peeks for, but I'll show you kind of like from start to finish what I would do. So first off, this is a program called PhotoMechanic, and this essentially just allows you to view all of your images super quickly, even if they're in RAW format. So if you have noticed, if you try to open these up in Lightroom and flip through all your images in order to pick out the best ones from the shoot, it's going to take Lightroom a really long time to kind of like render and show you every single raw image file because they are really large and it takes some time to process it. This particular program allows you to flip through them like pretty much instantly. So on this left side here it says Navigator. This is just all of like your computer and any hard drive or any USB slot or like any SD card that's plugged into your computer. So here, this last C is my hard drive. This is like something else that I have plugged in. This like if you have the images on your computer, you can find it through the desktop and stuff like that. But what I do is I go right over here to this Nikon. This is my SD card with the images currently on it. So if I click this little DCIM, it'll show me. Sorry, I have the like recording guy in the middle. So I'm like trying to click on it. Oh. Let's see if I can expand this out a little and fix this. There we go. Sorry for that. So here you can see the two folders that have all the images from this shoot. So you can see there's this folder and like they're loading pretty quickly. And then you go down here and you have like, this is the second folder. So what I'm going to do is I always call backwards because generally it'll take me a couple tries to like really nail a shot and the final like good shot will be towards the end. So that's why I'll call backwards. So if you double click on this, it opens it up in a new pane. Here, and if I scroll up with my mouse, like with my cursor, you see how it's like flipping through these images super quickly. That is so helpful with culling. So another cool thing about PhotoMechanic is if you hit Z, it'll zoom in. So here you can set how much you want it to zoom in. But if I click Z, because this is a really far out shot, I can like see if her face is like in focus. So here you can see there's this one, and I ended up going with this one instead. But if you click Z again, it zooms back out. So essentially how you like choose a picture is you hit T, which means it'll tag it. So here in this little corner, you'll see this little check mark comes up versus it goes away if I hit T again. So I will like go through all these images. I'll like zoom in for ones that I'm trying to keep and make sure that her eyes are open, stuff like that. You can like drag around the picture. Just make sure that it's in focus, and from all the duplicates, I'll choose which ones that I want to keep. So once you've gone through kind of like the entire shoot, I took so many pictures, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I've already called, but you'll go back to this guy over here, this main window, and you can see you can sort it by capture time, file name. You can sort by any type, color, class, rating. Another really cool thing is I believe, I'm going to see. Do you see this rating here? You can give it like a 3-star. Or like you can start by whatever system that you want. And when you pull it into Lightroom, it'll have the stars already there. So it's a very easy like tagging system, and you only have to go through the images once. So my like rating system is the images that I'm going to keep are going to be tagged. And I'll move that into a different folder, which I'll show you. I will mark images that are going to be on blog posts with a 3, so I can like easily filter out just the blog images, and then portfolio images that I want to keep and update my website with, I'll tag them with a 5. So that's kind of generally like my system. I think each photographer kind of has like something different that they do, but that's worked really well for me. And it's cool because you can do it all at once within PhotoMechanic. So then what I do is I pop open this little folder here. So this is my hard drive. This is kind of how I have it set up. This was a senior session, so I'm going to go under seniors. This is Megan. And so each folder that I have pretty much looks like this for portrait shoots. So I don't keep the raw files for portrait shoots for very long, or sometimes like I'll have a raw folder which I'll move all the like non-tagged images to. But for right now, I'm going to select just the tagged images, select all of them, and then you can just drag them and move them into the culled folder. So it's going to move 2 files for you. It's going to move the actual, for me, like Nikon NEF file and an XMP file, which has a lot more data. And I think it like has the data for like the tags with the stars and stuff as well. So I have already culled this session. So if I click this open, you're going to see all the culled images. But that's how I use PhotoMechanic to go through and pick out the images that I want to keep really, really quickly and star them all. So from there, what I do is I select all of them within the culled folder, and I'm going to drag it over to, this always takes a little second. You can drag it over to Lightroom, or you can go to Lightroom and import it into the certain catalog. So let me open that up and show you. Hopefully it doesn't get stuck. Let's see. Okay. Close out of this for right now and just take you over to Lightroom as if I've already like imported the images, but I'll walk you through the import process as well. My computer is going to be a little slow, so I'll have to just edit this part out. Move that. Also, you can see if you are looking through like my hard drive, within here, I create a new catalog for every single shoot. The reason I do this is I used to actually keep like a year's worth of shoots in one catalog, but that catalog would get super, super large and then would get really, really slow. And if that catalog crashed, I was going to lose a year's worth of edits. So I actually started breaking it out so every single shoot that I do gets its own catalog. So when you're in Lightroom, you can go here, you select New Catalog. Being so slow today. And then within that folder, like within her grad folder, I just saved it as Megan Grad, and it created its own little folder. So now if you go in here, it has all of, like the Lightroom catalog and files in here. So everything for each shoot is within that shoots folder, and it's really easy to keep everything super organized on the back end. So if I were importing images for the first time into this catalog, as you can see, they're already populated here. But if I was doing this for the first time, I would go to File, Import. It'll pull up the little dialog. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like. So I would not select it from my SD card because I just want to bring in the images that I'm going to keep that are culled. So go again, go to my hard drive, go into Seniors, find her folder, find culled, see, push right there. So here's the folder with all the images that I wanted to keep. It's like loading down here, as you can see. Okay, so these are all the photos. So I selected about 350, and they're kind of grayed out right now because these photos are already in the catalog, so it's not going to like let me add them to the catalog right now. But I would just go through and check, make sure that every single image is checked. So like if you uncheck this, it won't import it into the catalog. So you want to make sure that every single image is checked. I always build standard previews so that even if my hard drive is not connected, I have the catalog on my computer, I can still work on the images without having all of like the raw files currently like loaded in and having my hard drive plugged in. So I will sometimes do this by pulling a copy of the catalog onto my main computer to edit on it if I don't want to carry my hard drive around to like the coffee shop or something like that. And then I also have it apply my personal like photography preset on import. So it's going to take my preset and add it to every single image upon import, and so that way it makes editing a super, super easy time for me, and it cuts out so much editing time because the base edits have already been applied to every single image, and I can just kind of go in and tweak white balance, crop if I need to, things like that, just fix smaller things. In the metadata, I just keep it the basic info. I don't add any keywords or anything like that, but I make sure that I'm adding it to the catalog. So this will add the photos without moving them out of the culled folder. Instead of any of these guys, I don't move my images. And then I click import, and it imports all of them. I'm not going to click import again because then it's going to go through trying to import these guys. So then I come into Lightroom, and as you can see, these, so for portrait shoots, I won't create collections because I kind of just work off of like all the images that are in here. For weddings, what I'll do is I'll go through here and I'll create collections. So one would be details. I would do another collection for like, canceled. I would do create a collection. It would be like like bride getting ready. And then I always make sure to like select the images that I want to, and then hit include selected photos, and it'll already like add them to that collection. You can set it as the target collection. Another good way to do this is to just create the collection, and then you can go to all photographs, and if you want to right click your collection, set it as the target collection, and then if you want like these images, so if you want like, okay, we'll do like this set of like, what is this, 5 images. So I click the first one, I hold down shift, and then I click the last one, and it selects everything through that. And then if you hit B on your keyboard, like from ball, it'll add it to that target collection. And so if you created another one, so if this is like bride getting ready, and you just set it as the target collection, then you can choose like these set of images from all photographs, like up here, if you see, it's like all of the photographs. Hit B, it's going to add it down into the bride getting ready. So I'm just going to delete these for right now so I don't get confused. I generally don't do collections for portraits. So if you delete the collection, like the photos are going to still stay in the catalog. So it's okay to delete these guys right now. But yeah, for weddings, I'll break it up into the different sections. For really big events, I'll also break it into every single section. And the purpose of having those sections is you can export files from different collections at the same time. So instead of waiting for it to be like Margaret and Brian's wedding, like images 1 through like 112, and then like having to re-export the other and wait until you know how many images, or like do math and stuff to like export the numbers at the same time, I will actually just label them in a way that makes it easy to export multiple at the same time. So here's an example. This is Mary and Rory's wedding. If you go here, you can see how I have all of these guys by like details, bride getting ready, ceremony, stuff like that. And the way that I'll name things is it'll be Mary, Rory, wedding, details 1. Every single folder, it'll be like Mary, Rory, Mary getting ready 1. And that way I can you can only export 4 sections at the same time in Lightroom, but I would have done like 1, 2, 4, and 5 at the same time together, if that makes sense. So that's just like a little time saving hack. But back to Megan's grad session. So from here, what I'll do is I always go through and edit the blog images first. So it'll be a subset of the images. Generally, it's about like 1 image from every single lighting scenario that you have. So like here you can see while we were like on this brick path, here's one. We switched to this like hallway. So this is like, we have like 2 here that I chose for the blog post. This is like still same hallway, but different like one set of columns. This is on top of the rotunda, so I chose this guy here, and then this guy here. And I'll just choose whatever looks good for the blog post, but I'll try to do 1 from every single section, so it makes syncing all my edits later a lot easier. So then down here, I'll filter by like everything that's marked as 3 stars for the blog. And I'll go through and I'll edit these to be as perfect as I possibly can. I'm not going to walk you through like the editing portion of things right now because I'll make a separate video of that. But I'll edit all of these, and then once I'm done editing these, I'll select all the blog images and I'll do File Export. and I will export these into the blog gallery or the blog folder. So it's a sneak peeks. I've already exported it, so I'll show you where they were exported to. Here we go, seniors, American grad. So here's the little folder, and it says blog. So from here, in order to actually blog these images, I use a software called Blogstomp. So this is what Blogstomp looks like. You go in here, you hit import images, and you find all the blog images. So these are already imported in here, sorry. But you would just go here, find that folder, blog, select all of these, and it's going to pop them into here. Blogstomp just lets you resize images really, really quickly and pair vertical images together. Or if you want to do like a mini collage of some sorts, you can select multiple. And again, I'm like selecting that by hitting the first one, hitting shift on my keyboard, and then selecting the last that I want. But it gives you a ton of like custom layouts here that you can choose from. And the way that I have this set up is my blog, the dimensions for my blog posts are like the width of the container that holds the images in my blog post is 1600. And you can find that out if you're using a Showit website. Actually, regardless of what website you're using, I can show you how to do it on a Mac really quickly, and I think you can do a very similar thing on Windows. So if I go to my blog, I haven't updated the dimensions in a really long time, so I'm hoping that they're still accurate or pretty close. So if you go to, hopefully there's an image in here. There's not. That's my bad. Okay, let's see. This has a ton of images. This is wedding. So, okay. So if you use the little screenshot tool on Mac or the equivalent screenshot tool on Windows, this is how you can see what your like blog container width is. So I hit Control-Shift-4 for Mac, which brings up this little screenshot guy. And so this is like where the image starts, and then this is where it ends, right? So you can see this is about like 799 pixels across. So it's like, I think it's probably around 800 pixels all the way across, right? And so for the width, I actually keep it to be double that because I forget the exact like technical explanation for this. I think Mac Retina screens pack in about too many pixels as like a normal screen would, so I was double the blog width. So since it was 800 pixels, I have this set to 1600 in order to get the best quality photos. If you go back, look through Amy and Jordan's blog, they have a whole blog post all about resizing images for your blog. But that's how I got this number here, and that's an easy way to check what it is for your particular blog style. So I have this set. If you go to freestyle again, you can put two together. So I generally pair two vertical ones together. So I would click these both. Super cute, and then I would hit enter, or you can click stomp it, and basically this will make those two images into one image. So if you go over to my desktop, you can go into stomped, and this has all my stomped images. So here you can see that was the same one, so now it has both of the images together, and it should be about 1600 across, oh, not across, 1600 the long way. So let's do, believe this is correct. Ooh, not true. Okay, but it's like accurately sized for my blog now. And so then if I'm gonna go and create a blog post, I use Showit. So this is like WordPress. Showit has WordPress blogs. So I would go in here. This is going to be editing this specific post, but you would just make a new post, and then you hit add media, and then you would select all the images from that stomped folder on your desktop through Blogstomp. This is just a really easy way to make sure that your images load quickly on the blog too, so that you're not uploading super, super large images to the blog post where it slows down your entire website. So as you can see, like these are a lot smaller, but they're accurately sized to look really nice on the blog. But before I even like create and publish the entire blog post, I will actually go in here into Past Gallery, and I'll create the client's folder, like their gallery folder for them. And I will always upload the blog images into there as like sneak peeks or like highlights, and I actually send them out to the clients so they get like a subset of their images, which are like the highlight images, within a couple of days, and they don't have to wait weeks to get all their photos. I will send along the blog images as soon as I have them edited. So here you can see my NCDA grad portraits. There's like about 25 to 28 within here. Oops, sorry. So if I click photo here, it says 28 sneak peeks, and then I'll do like full gallery. And once I've edited the entire thing, I'll go through and upload her full gallery in here. For weddings, I will do the same process. Like I'll have a sneak peeks of like 100 to 150 images that I send within a couple days of their wedding. But then here, this would be like 1 details, 2 would be bride getting ready, and then you can upload multiple sections at the same time to save yourself some time. So that's kind of just my process for the blog images, and I will send an email with the link to the gallery. And the gallery already includes the print release, and like the email has instructions on how to access their blog posts and stuff like that. Access their blog post and access this gallery link. So that's just a little sneak peek of my process. From here, when on days where I'm like going through and editing everything, what I will do to make editing super fast is I'll select this guy, I'll hit Command-Shift-S, which is sync, and this is everything that I sync. So I will sync the treatment and profile, white balance, all the basic tone stuff, so exposure, contrast, highlights, and like the tone curve, texture and clarity, dehazing, sharpening, color, split toning. I won't do local adjustments, so if I like clone stamp a little pigeon out of the way, I don't want it to clone stamp all the images that I'm syncing, so this is turned off. Same thing goes for like cropping and straightening. Like I keep all of these guys off. I think technically I can just have these 2 set to yes, but I don't change the process version or the calibration or anything like that, so that's why I don't have them checked. So you hit synchronize, and this is just going to apply this guy's edits to this guy. So I don't know if you can tell, but it went from being super green to a little less green. So then here I would go through, sync this. I'm going to take this guy. These are all in the same location, so I'm going to sync this. And the way that you sync is you just hold the first one, then you select everything that you want to sync, and then you hit sync. So you can kind of see how as these images are syncing. So after I've synced like a section, I'll go through this guy and make sure that it's like cropped and straightened up, and tweak anything else if I need to, but the colors look pretty okay to me. And so this is how I go through and edit really quickly. So again, this guy, I'll straighten this guy a little bit. So having all the blog edits actually makes like my editing time a lot shorter, because once I have like those main ones edited, I can just go through and sync all these edits and really quickly just tweak things if I need to. Mostly I'm just like cropping and adjusting the brightness just a little bit for anything that I've synced. Generally I don't have to make any crazy edits because I've already like edited it well for the blog post. So that's kind of just my editing process. So hopefully that's helpful for you to see. I'm actually going to go through and sync the rest of the edits for the session today. But yeah, that's just how I go through, and like that's my entire process pretty much from start to finish. Once I'm done syncing all the edits, I'll actually select all of these, including the blog images, and I'll export. So it's Command-Shift-E is export. I'll export these all into, so I would change this to be edited, and I would go into the edited folder. And then, so it would go into here. And then once those are all complete, I'll go back over to Past Gallery and upload everything into the full gallery. And then after they've been uploaded and it looks okay and all that, I would just like re-email my client and be like, hey, like your full gallery is up and edited, like feel free to look through it. And I just let them know how to use the gallery, how to share the gallery, how to print things from the gallery and stuff like that. So that's pretty much my whole post-processing workflow. For weddings, it obviously does take longer, and I do try to just edit a couple of sections every single day. So my goal is to finish editing weddings within 3 days. So the first day on Monday, I'll go through and I'll call my images, and then I'll call my second shooter's images, figure out which ones to keep, tag the ones that are going to go in the blog as like the highlights. And again, I still try to pick like 1 or 2 from most every lighting situation that we have so that I can get them like the bulk of the edits done up front with those blog post images. I'll export those. I'll pull them into Blogstomp to like get them resized for the blog, and I'll upload those like sneak peeks into Past Gallery. Once the blog post is done, I will send my couples the link to their gallery with the blog post images and the link to the blog post to read and like share on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. From there, I try to edit the whole day in like 2 different day chunks. Sometimes it takes me less, sometimes it takes me more. But I'll just go in here and add all the images to the different collections that I kind of walked you through earlier. And then each day I'll take a handful of sections to go through and edit. I do actually have an editor who works on about half the wedding now. So I'm doing about half of the wedding. Like I only have to sync the edits for half of the wedding now. But beforehand, I used to edit the entire thing myself, and this was like the same system that I used then. So I'll go through, sync all the edits, and then I'll export them into the individual folders like I showed you earlier, and then upload them into the Past Gallery, and then send them the final gallery. So most of my weddings get their images within, I would say, like a week. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, but I don't think I've ever had any where it took me longer than 2 weeks to get it back to them. But I think like taking time to edit those like blog images up front really saves you a lot of time down the road. It makes syncing images really fast and easy. Another thing to keep in mind is I shoot on manual white balance. So if you look at this, like the colors are a little wonky, but because it's manual white balance and because the white balance is the same across all of these images, when I fix the white balance for this particular one, I can just sync it across all of the images in that one area really quickly using like sync, and then all the colors look pretty good unless like the sun drastically changed while we were shooting or something. So it makes it super fast and easy to get through all the edits really quickly. So hopefully this was helpful. Sorry it was like a little bit longer of a tutorial, but again, like this is a true like inside behind the scenes unfiltered look of kind of what I do with each and every shoot that I edit. So if you have any questions about it, always feel free to like email me, reach out on Box or on Instagram, honestly, as well. And I hope that this is helpful and you were able to take something away from it.